Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to some more of my political coverage. If you're watching from Bill's channel, welcome to The Middleman with Bill Mack. How you doing, Bill?
Doing great, man. Glad to be back on your show here, Widge, as always. Doing pretty good today. How about you, man? How's everything going, Widge?
Great. Got a good video here. Trump screws North Carolina out of hurricanes, our state, man, hurricane funds. And I'm like, damn, he denies climate change and hurricanes.
And we voted for him. We turned him back red, and look what he does to us, man.
Yeah, I didn't vote for him, but the state did. Yeah. Oh, I know. I got a friend on Facebook, a different Justin back in the day. I see he's in these Trump groups and always liking what Trump says, and he's in South Carolina. But I'm like, man, I wonder what he think of some damn criticism, Mr. Can't Do No Wrong Trump. You know. But, we just look for the facts, ladies and gentlemen. We just looking for the facts, you know. That's all we want to do. If you keep up, if you guys would watch the John Kasich Bernie Sanders debate on my channel, that's how Bill and I are. We have like these great conversations about, because we just put America first. And when you have a president, you're pretty much the parents of the Democratic and Republican Party. Just think of them as one's a boy, one's a girl. And when Trump says Democrats are losers, you're leaving out one of your kids. You can't do that. You have to, work with the parties. Anyway, here we go. Jimmy Dore.
A couple of weeks ago, actually. This was tweeted out May 11th, so not a couple of weeks, but a couple of days ago. That's my dog squeaking. It says 99%. So there was Hurricane Matthew, and 99% of the aid that was requested, Trump turned down. That's according to Channel 8 News, WIRC Richmond. Well, I played in Richmond. Little Pump. That's what it's called. That's the suburb is called Little Pump. And my big joke is, I guess Big Yank was taken, so they went with Little Pump. Anyway.
Socialist.
So guess what? Here's a news report about what had happened.
And disappointed. That's how Governor Cooper described federal hurricane funding. Good evening. I'm Sean Maroney.
And I'm Sharon Tazwell. He learned the federal government will only give North Carolina about
1% of the money they requested.
Of the money he requested from housing and urban development to cover disaster relief after Hurricane Matthew. And the governor asked for $929 million federal dollars, about $600 million of that from HUD. But now he's learned only $6 million will be allocated to the state.
They requested almost.
Wow, I'm fucked up, man. Trump denying climate change and hurricanes. Wow.
Well, you think about that, dude. That is totally disrespectful. When it's like you said, when Trump is America's supposed to be his baby, and whenever the baby's hurt, you want to take the baby to the hospital. You want the baby to have care. Okay, the baby's arm's hurting. Trump is saying, okay, baby, well, your arm's hurt, but we're going to get the tips of your fingers to be looked at. Okay, that's what he's saying. And for a state to actually turn red, and I didn't vote for him either. But just to see how these victims, man, because you and I are a part of this state, we've seen so much of the damage that this has caused. And for Trump to turn his nose up at the money request, look at it, $929 million requested, only $6 million that he's only given the state. That's not, dude. One town lost more than $6 million. One town was totally underwater, and it's just sad. It really shows you, does Trump really care to make America great when he can't even help his states of that country to get back to form? I mean, 99% of it denied, only 1% of that for these victims, and a lot of people lost everything they got. It just shows you, does Trump really care to do something like that, or is he all in the special interest of what he wants to do and how he runs business? Very sad situation to see this, dude. It's totally sad to see a man promise all this stuff. It really does.
I know, and he campaigned on fixing our crumbling infrastructure, like the roads, the bridges, the railroads, and I would think that would include hurricane disasters. Now, I was going to say, like, defense. Now, I'm just saying, maybe he's thinking like, well, maybe North Carolina doesn't have a bad history of getting hurricanes that much, and maybe we don't need that much money. I'm just saying maybe he's using that rationale, or he's just being tight. I think he's just being tight. But I was going to point out that we don't get much, but the one we got last year, man, our power was out for a week because, ladies and gentlemen, we have power lines in North Carolina. We don't have our power underground, and basically in my town, in B-town, power goes out. It's out for a whole week, and for a generator, and that's why you guys need to donate. But no, I don't have a generator because hurricanes are not that common here. I mean, you can argue that. It just depends. And we're a flip state when it comes to hurricane, or swing state rather. And now I do want a generator though to keep in my closet and just have. I would love to have a generator because every time my power's out for a week, just from a little hurricane or a bad ice storm or something, I'm like, man, I wish I had a generator. It's a very humbling experience. So yeah, I guess we pretty much agree that Trump's just being tight. I was gonna say, like, well, maybe he's thinking like, well, they don't have that many disasters, and we'll just give them 1%. You know, he could give us more than 6 million though. When 929 million was requested, why not 100 million? 100. I mean, that seems more reasonable. Or he could say, well, just wait till it happens. Just wait till it happens. You know, and he's supposed to be a millionaire. Is he a millionaire or a billionaire?
He's a failed businessman in my books. What he is, that's totally what he is. It's sad though, dude, that I go through Fair Bluff every day. That was one of the towns that the former governor Pat McCrory came to see, and he tried to put in a lot of aid to see the devastation what ain't done. Because even now, I went through the downtown.
By the way,
what?
By the way, our new governor Roy Cooper, Democrat, he's upset about the hurricane funds as well.
Yeah,
and so it's kind of cool that we live in a red state, but we got Governor Roy Cooper trying to look out for us there. So that's a different flip on it. And does your power go out for days in your town? You know, you're the next. Well,
mine was out here from Wednesday. It went out Saturday, and it was out here at my house. Now my sister's house was different, but here it went out that Saturday or that Friday night. It was Friday night. It didn't come back on till Wednesday of the following week. So we were a little less than a week, but you know, when you have to work.
That's right. That's right. Because mine came on that Thursday, the next day. So that's why we need these hurricane funds, if nothing else, man. Because I mean, that's for the infrastructure. But when our power goes out, ladies and gentlemen, it's out for days. You know, sometimes a week, and it is a struggle. It is a struggle down here. Most people can't afford a generator, and sometimes we just don't want to buy an expensive high wattage generator or the basic wattage for like $600 or whatever. You know, they're good to have. I'll end up pawning the damn thing. Like, well, we didn't get a hurricane, I'm gonna go pawn it. But then again, I've switched careers, so maybe I won't have to do shit like that anymore. But yeah, okay.
Yeah,
$1 billion. Trump's giving them $6 million.
Negotiator. I'll give you 6. Will you take 6?
He's doing that because Roy Cooper. He's doing that because Roy Cooper's a Democrat, a governor. Just joking.
To the Trump administration criticizing the decision and spoke out about it today.
Even though it's a red state.
I was shocked
there he is, Roy Cooper.
to see the paltry amount of money.
That's our governor, man.
$930
on Jimmy Dore
request that was conservative.
The governor says there was nearly $5 billion of damage in North Carolina from Hurricane Matthew. Many communities are continuing to rebuild, but people still recovering. The money is needed. Our political reporter Bo Minnick joins us live from Fayetteville.
So there you go.
Right.
This is the kind of stuff that's supposed to come back to hurt you in elections. The reason why you want to have, you know, a lot of people said George Herbert Walker Bush didn't get reelected because of the Hurricane Andrew in Florida.
Oh, I remember Hurricane Andrew. That makes sense. You don't take care of us in our downtimes, we'll turn on you, man. We're people. We're country over party first. And That's when shit hits the fan, when we have disasters and we don't get the correct funds. That's when people are like, okay, I might still be a Republican or whatever, but he's not a good president, you know. But yeah, I remember Hurricane Andrew back in Florida, because we got the residue of that.
Dude, what's sad about that whole situation is they just said $5 billion in damage. North Carolina only asked less than 20% of that, and they couldn't even get that. $5 billion. They only asked for $927 million, which is only a 20% of the total damage they lost. Because and he couldn't do that, man. That's going to really reflect bad on him and all these other people that voted for him, and the older people, which is what North Carolina has a lot of, that voted for him, basically. It did actually see, well, gee, really, is he that good of a president because he turned us down when we needed him? You know, that's like going days without eating and going to the one place you hope would feed you, then they close the door on your face before you can get there.
He takes us for granted. He might be thinking, well, when 2020 comes, people will forget about that. North Carolina's a red state, so I already got them in the pocket. I don't have to help them because they're going to vote Republican because they'll forget about this. But he's mistaken. People are not going to forget this. They're going to hold it against him.
Bad though, Brandon.
Just like you said, it cost Bush, Herbert Walker Bush. It cost him his second term when he didn't help out people in Florida. Hurricane Andrew, it turned blue back then. But yeah, go ahead.
And what hurts with the politicians, dude, is the fact that you have even the Republicans that maybe not agreeing with him. He's making it look bad on his whole party, and it ain't just his decisions. People ain't gonna say, well, let's just say there was some Republicans that did this, some Democrats did this. They don't look at that. It's just simply one. It's gonna look bad on the whole party, and they better get wise to that. That's why this whole impeachment thing is coming on process anyway. They need to go ahead and do something about this, because him turning that down hurt a lot of people in our own state. So very sad over that.
Yeah, it is very depressing. I remember when I want to say Katrina hit New Jersey and they had that big disaster hurricane.
That was Sandy.
And Hurricane Sandy. And Governor Chris Christie and Obama shook hands. Obama flew over there and he was helping out with cleaning and helping the people out over there. And he said, and Chris Christie said, the president's a good man here. He said, we disagree on everything else, but he came to my state and he helped us out during a disaster. He gave us X amount of funding. He really helped us out there. And that made Obama look good. That might've been, prior to his second term, or I don't know. I ain't gonna go there.
But lower lying government officials, dude. Okay. Pat McCrory came down here.
Yeah,
when he was the Republican governor. Roy Cooper's Democrat governor now. He cared. Right. Those two governors, different parties, still care about North Carolina enough that they wanted to get him help. It's the president himself and that higher that has his own interest at heart and turning people down. And like you said, you and I talked about this before. Whenever I watched the video when Trump was politicking in Fayetteville. I mean, you and I talked, and I said, dude, he didn't mention one time when he was talking about jobs or nothing, North Carolina. He was mentioning all these other places, Michigan, all this other stuff, but nothing about North Carolina. And I told you this. I said, that's what irks me about him is whenever you go to a city or state, you always mention the city or state or the big cities in that state of wanting to try to get stuff done back where people will feel he cares about my state. But he was just deflating and talking about, we're going to get jobs like in auto market makers back in Michigan. I'm like, what about North Carolina? He's not mentioning us, And he's like, oh, yeah, we're going to get jobs in North Carolina, But he's not saying where, not naming none of the cities to make us feel like he really cares. So it's like you said, bud, he don't care nothing about this state. Nothing at all. And that just shows He takes us for granted because we're already a red state, and he's not a smart politician because he's new at it. He's a new politician and whatnot. And if I'm just saying, if he was a smart politician, he would have at least mentioned that he was going to help us out in more ways than one, even if he didn't care. You know what I mean? Let me see. But yeah, the thing is, Bill, as you know, governors care, either Republican or Democrat. Governors care more about the state than the president would, because even if it was a Republican governor, he would question Trump on this because they won't get reelected. Governors care more about how they look
in their state, or they won't get reelected in their state. Kind of like moderates in the moderate Republicans or Democrats. They have to be moderate and try to work with both sides, or they won't get reelected. And so Governor Roy Cooper, our new governor, absolutely. Even if he was Republican, he would be questioning Trump on this because he's got to get reelected, and it's his fucking, it's our state, man.
Right.
All I got for you. You had anything else you want to add before we close out, or are you good? Or
it just shows you, bud. It just shows you that whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, when it comes to politics, that's one thing. But when it comes to your own personal lives and your state, you always want to do what your state will do, no matter what you are, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. You pull together because you want your state to get help. Politics don't divide your home state. You want to do the best, and you want the best for your state. And it's sad to see our president, after sitting there in this being one of his states, that he came down on that thank you tour that he made when he got elected. He even came to North Carolina, came there, looked at the people in their face, and basically was lying to their face to deny them and deny our state to help, man. Because we went through Fair Bluff, and like I said earlier, dude, just real quick, it's a ghost town. Man. Every single store is closed down there. And only one place, oddly enough, is the Japanese place, restaurant that's got food there. And they were the one that had the less damage. But every single store downtown is destroyed. Even the Ford place, they lost 68 vehicles in that flood, and they had to leave. So that's jobs from there that had to leave. And all those people that lost jobs within the town had to leave. So he's wanting to make America great. Why don't you make North Carolina great? Why don't you make our cities great? He's got to start.
Yeah, he needs to start in the rural areas, man. That's where he needs to start out at, in the rural areas. I didn't even know this till the other day, but because I ain't been to Lumberton in a while, but we lost Fullers to that flood.
Yeah.
I didn't know that shit, man. Because I was talking to my coworker. I was like, "You ever eat a Fuller?" She's like, "Yeah." Before we lost it to the flood, I'm like, "Wow, it's very depressing." And it is a ghost town because, as you know, Bill, every time if we talk to a girl or from another area, another county, another state, or whatever, she'll come here and she say, "Well, small towns, but I don't want to live in this small town." They can feel it. They know it's a ghost town, and it's just sad. We need the help the most. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, you guys, if you would, sign up, go to my Patreon. I do more shows there. I talk more on my Patreon. Well, I don't talk more, or rather, I just put extra stuff on my Patreon, or send me a one-time PayPal donation. I do appreciate it because I am struggling, and I'll put it towards a generator and a webcam where you can see me. And but yeah, man, sometimes when I drive through Whiteville, I go in Murph's Pawn Shop. I'm like, man, these roads look so old, and the store looks so old. But man, I love the people in the towns, and we look out, and where I work out now, we're like one big happy family because most people's been there for years, and we care about one another because they might not speak to you the first day because they want to make sure you're gonna stay there before they give a fuck about you. And that's just how it is here in the small town, man. We all know each other, and we get along, we care about each other. But you're right, divide people, but disasters bring us together. That's when we're like, "Oh, you like Pepsi? I like Coke. Who cares?" We put country first, put state first. Absolutely. It's like a brother and sister thing. They're just two different types of people. And that's how Trump should look at a Democratic Republican Party, like his children. That's what he's supposed to be when he's governing like that. But yeah, he just brushed us to the side because we're just an assumed red state or whatever. Yeah, okay. And just in a criticism of Obama, he cut out the emergency benefits, unemployment benefits, because we both were there. And used to, you could get extended benefits, then you get emergency benefits, get more weeks out of unemployment. Other states get 22 weeks of unemployment. We get 12 because the unemployment rate is down. We don't have high unemployment here. I'm like, well, you don't know that. Some people might not want to work. How many people have been deceased or died this past year? There's a lot of factors that go into that. And I had a hard time getting hired, find a job, and you did as well. So they could, so they give you 12 weeks unemployment. That's it, because apparently it's easy to find a job. And that was Obama. He cut out that emergency benefit funding from the government. He cut that shit out, and Trump's not going to renew it. He's going to say, them people just don't want to work. Because 12 weeks is not enough. Other states get 22. Like I say, 22 is a sweet spot. It's nothing. You know, it really ain't when you're looking. And a lot of people, because they want you to go to the first job you find. I believe in like having a choice sometimes when I'm because you're thinking about a job and a career. But I get what they're saying. But it's nice to have a choice. But you can always take what you can get, then look for something else while you're there or whatever. But what else? It's good to have. It's good, and if you take the first job you get, there's a possibility you might not have the skills for it, and you get fired, you get let go, then you're fucked. So government don't help us that much. I mean, I believe in smaller government too, especially when it comes to telling people what to do with their bodies and beliefs and shit like that. As long as they ain't harming nobody. But I believe in government to help us when we need it. When somebody needs unemployment, you help the guy out. Just give us 22 weeks. Nobody's abusing it because you have to turn into work search history. You know how that is. But I get it, though. You do have smoochers and whatnot. But hurricane funding, that's not a smooching thing. That's a disaster thing. And someday he's going to learn when he don't get reelected. And we are out.
Yeah.